Have you ever lived in the United States in 2026? I have, and it's a really challenging time. Today, my creative cutie, I'm going to do what sometimes creatives and artists are called to do, and that is talk about the current moment and how we might exist in it and how we can alchemize our pain and turn it into purpose. Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Creative with Lauren LaGrasso. I'm Lauren LaGrasso. Today is going to be a really unscripted episode off the cuff. I had a big plan to come on and do an episode about the different types of fear, and I'm still really excited to do that. I want to bring that episode to you. I think it will be super helpful. But I couldn't come on here and in good conscience, I don't know why it's so hard for me to say that word, conscience, do that episode. And I also it wouldn't have been true to come on and give you a tips episode, which I love doing. And I know those are super helpful, but sometimes as a podcaster, as a communicator, you just have to speak from the heart. And right now my heart is really, really heavy. If you aren't acquainted, if you aren't in the United States, it's a really difficult time in our country right now. There's an organization called ICE, and it's raining terror upon our people, literally murdering people in the streets. And it's really hard to exist here right now and not just have that on your mind constantly. And why wouldn't it be? Because when that level of cruelty and lack of care for human life is being displayed, nobody is safe. And it just goes against everything I believe in. You know, the interesting thing is I get really confused by the word politics because to me, none of this stuff is actually political. They're just human rights issues. And it's really weird to me that somehow politics have gotten associated with human rights. It just seems like it shouldn't be a partisan issue. You know, it shouldn't be a Democratic or a Republican issue. Certain things are just right. What's right is right. And I am always on the side of people. And I'll just, read a post that I did recently because, again, I'm going totally off the cuff here. I just wanted to honestly talk to you from where I'm at. And where I'm at is overwhelmed, heartbroken, and just kind of confused about how we got to such a dark place. So this is a post I recently wrote. I reposted this amazing quote that Dr. Jessica, I hope I'm saying her name right, Kernick said. And she said, propaganda works by convincing good people to stay loyal to a narrative over evidence, but you don't have to. At any point, you can choose to trust your own eyes, ask better questions, and push back against narratives that don't match reality. You can choose in this moment to be on the right side of history. And what I wrote in response to that is what's happening in the United States is not normal. It's inhumane, depraved, disturbing, and incredibly undemocratic. This is the result of a cruel, selfish, authoritarian regime, the Trump administration. If you're watching or reading the news sources that normalize this and what Trump and his cabinet are doing to the U.S., and I wrote to us, but I meant to the U.S., to us, please know they're lying to you and concealing the horrible truth. They're killing innocent people in the streets. ICE is an abomination. At any time you can wake up. Do not bury your head in the sand because it's too horrible to believe. Believe it. It's happening. Open your eyes. Call your reps. Fight. If we band together, maybe we can save each other. Abolish ICE. So that's how I feel in this moment. They've murdered, I believe it's 3 people in the last 3 weeks. Let me look up the names of everybody. So this is a list of some of the people that ICE has killed. Most recently, of course, is Alex Preddy, who was an ICU nurse at the VA, Renee Good, Keith Porter, and there's another name here, and I hope I'm saying this right, Silverio Villegas Gonzalez, as well as 32 people killed who died in ICE custody in 2025, and countless families torn apart. It's just so senseless. I still can't believe, it hurts my soul at all that people still kill each other. What are we doing? But how can you justify murdering innocent people? It's so disturbing. And so I have been making calls to my representatives. I've been emailing them. it makes you feel like, I don't know if any of it matters, but I do think it does. Obviously, speaking out, if you can speak out, making something, like taking your pain, the pain of feeling this way and feeling helpless and like we can't help our fellow human being, and taking your talent and finding a way to bring those two things together. Something interesting has been happening to me though, and it's like, I just feel like empty. I keep wanting to create something. Even this, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I feel too overwhelmed by emotions. And at the same time, I'm so overwhelmed by my emotions that I feel like I can't do anything. So you may be feeling that too. And if you are, I don't know. Like, is it okay? I feel like I need to be doing something, but I feel so overwhelmed and so full of emotion that I feel empty. I wrote it in my journal. I need to make things. I feel blank right now. Nothing sticks. There's such a void because of the state of the world. I want to share, but what would be worth sharing at this time? How are you supposed to go about daily life? And then I wrote again this morning, I want to become a creator, but I feel so tired and hapless. It's like, it's so interesting that you can be so filled and so overloaded with emotions that you almost freeze. But I guess this coming on is my first step at trying to alchemize the pain and turn it into something, into some sort of creative act. And maybe it's just about making time for that every day, not putting pressure on it, not thinking it has to become, the next anthem of the revolution, but just trying to find a way through your creativity to get out your pain, frustration, hopelessness through whatever it is you do, whether it's music, writing, cooking, making videos, whatever it is. I do think we need to make space and containers to try, because otherwise, if you're feeling the way I've been feeling, you're just going to keep getting overwhelmed with emotion, bogged down, and not know what to do. But yeah, in these moments, I think you have to take the strength where you can get it. You have to take the action you can take. You have to try to turn your pain into purpose, and also to give yourself rest when you do need it, to protest, to protect your neighbors. I think something else I've been thinking about a lot in this moment is the people that I know who did vote for Trump and who have been supporters of his, I believe, through this past election. But I keep hoping that some of them, this will finally open their eyes. I have noticed this changing certain people who have in the past leaned conservatively. I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, well, if you did that, then I can't ever talk to you. And again, this is controversial, but I don't hold the same take that like people aren't allowed to change their minds, or like if they help put this person in office that they can't be redeemed by seeing the error in his ways now. Like, personally, I think anytime somebody has the courage to admit that they were wrong and to take a different path, we should embrace that. We shouldn't like just forget the fact that they, made bad choices in the past. But I do believe in forgiveness. And I also want to say to you, if you're listening and you feel the same way, like the internet is really kind of cruel right now toward anybody who reaches out an olive branch. And I personally am heartened to see people waking up, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what you could possibly agree with Trump. Like just even the way he talks, forget his hateful policies, just the way he talks is so disturbing and fucked up, honestly. It's just not a way that like I could ever respect or that I would ever talk to another human being. And I don't care if he's like a businessman. I just don't think leaders should talk that way. I don't think that's leadership. That's why, he is trying to be an authoritarian, because that's the way authoritarians talk, and just like all around bad human beings. So I can't understand why you would have ever liked someone like that just for the person he is alone. But on top of that, the policies are so hard to understand why you would like that. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but basically I'm just saying, like, if somebody does, like, there is obviously something that people connect to, even though I can't even begin to understand what it could be. And if they're waking up from whatever that trance was that he had them under, like, I applaud that and I'm grateful for it. And anybody who has the courage to admit they're wrong, I think is worth accepting and, welcoming them to the side of what's right. Like that clip says, like, I do believe good people have been somehow bamboozled by him. And I'm hoping that watching several innocent American citizens get murdered in the street for doing nothing but, in the case of Alex Preddy, literally trying to help someone and then get shot 10 times. Like, if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. And don't let anybody talk you out of it, that was okay. It was not okay. Again, I'm flooded with emotion right now. I'm overwhelmed by what's going on. I definitely don't have the right words, but I just had to speak out and say, I deeply want to see ICE abolished. I think it is absolutely ruining and traumatizing our country and making us all live in fear. And I pray that kindness is brought to the United States, that peace and love is brought in, that ICE gets abolished, and that our neighborhoods can be restored. Immigrants are not the problem. Immigrants are what makes our country great. The problem is hatred. The problem is greed. The problem is cruelty and trying to erase a democracy. But immigrants are not the problem. Immigrants are one of our greatest gifts. I wouldn't be here if there weren't immigrants. My grandpa just came in the 20s, I think. My grandma's actually an immigrant from Canada, and her parents immigrated to Canada from Italy. And, I just even think about like the people who are here who are undocumented. Like, no one leaves their home because they want to. Like, I think about if things ever got really bad here and I had to leave America, I would be heartbroken every day for the rest of my life because I love this country and I love it here. People leave their home because they have to. And how dare we not make a path forward for them? How dare we hunt them down? It's not right. Immigrants are not the problem. We're lucky to have immigrants. We're all immigrants except for the Native Americans. Ugh, the hypocrisy is crazy. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and say, if you're not okay, it's okay. If you're having a hard time focusing, how are we supposed to just, I wrote that in my journal too, like, how are we supposed to just pretend like it's a normal day? It's not a normal day. My makeup is so screwed up. Anyway, it's fine. I should have worn mascara that didn't run. I don't like the whatever it is, those tubing mascara. It creeps me out because it looks like spiders, but honestly, it would have been better than this. You can go watch the video on YouTube if you want to see what I mean. I'm not the most eloquent speaker when it comes to politics because I feel more than I can articulate. But the biggest thing is, like, I just think that what has always made our country great is diversity and the fact that we've welcomed so many different people. It's why we've been known as the melting pot. There's no excuse for the way things are going down right now. It shouldn't be like this. And I pray that the cruelty ends and that we can all band together and keep protesting. I mean, the people of Minnesota are giving me so much faith. Like the fact that they're out there in sub-zero weather, fighting for each other, protesting, protecting each other, looking out for each other, holding patrols. Like, it's hard enough to go out in a protest when the weather is normal, but to do it when it's that cold, like if you've never been to Minnesota in the winter, it is cold beyond. Like, I grew up in Detroit, but it is colder up there. Like, the fact that these people are coming together and helping each other and lifting each other up. Like, that's what gives me faith. That's what gives me hope. That's what makes me want to write a song, is seeing people love each other through the hardest times of their lives. I have to fix my makeup. Hold on. I'm using an eye makeup remover pad now. Might look weirder. It doesn't really matter. I should have just left my makeup off. I didn't have any on. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll put on some makeup. Maybe it will make me feel better and I'll feel better recording this. Well, a lot of good that did me. I think it's on my nose. I can't see. The camera's so confusing. Well, I don't know if that's better or worse, but it is what it is. Yeah. And I just want to give a moment of silence to all the lives lost. May they not be in vain. May we fight in their names. May they be remembered and held up with love. May their families feel peace and comfort. And may we allow their memory to guide us, to help us be brave like they were. And may there, please God, be no more killings. And may you bring peace. As I was saying that, I was thinking of the St. Francis prayer. And I think that no matter if you're, what religion you are, even if you aren't religious at all, even if you're an atheist, it's a beautiful prayer. And I would like to say it. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I might not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. I love that prayer. Make me an instrument of your peace. That's the meditation I'm going to have. I want peace. I want love. I want people to treat each other the way they would like to be treated. I want kind words, and I intend to create a world where that is the predominant vision. And I know if you're listening to this, you have that intention too. So use your words, use your work, use your voice, get out there, join your community, protect your community, call your senators, call your representatives. We together can make a difference. It's a very small amount of people that it takes to actually change the world. And I feel things shifting. I feel people waking up. You know, I also want to encourage you to forgive people when they admit that they're wrong, even if it is something as painful as putting Trump into office. Like, it's not wrong to have a heart that is forgiving and to show somebody a kindness, even if they didn't show it to you. It's a beautiful thing. And I think we should welcome everybody who's waking up and everybody who is joining the side of what's right. Because again, to me, this is not political. It's not about like, oh, I'm a fiscal conservative or I want, these social services. This is about right and wrong at this point. And if somebody is waking up to what's right, I don't want to drag them over the coals for all the things they've done in the past that are wrong. I think they should still have to answer for them, but I want to, if they're genuinely sorry, forgive them and welcome them to the side of what's right so that they can join in the fight. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Just accept people and let's all work together to abolish ICE and to make America safe again. Because right now it's deeply unsafe for everybody. We shouldn't be afraid if we go out and try to protect our neighbors or fight for what's right, or just peacefully protest, that we're going to get murdered in the street. That is not a normal feeling to have. So, yeah, that's where I'm at today. This was extremely raw, as you could tell, but I felt like I couldn't just come on and do my normal podcast. I had to share what's on my heart, what's going on in this moment, what it feels like to be a creative or artist. I did ask some friends, like, what are you doing as a creative or as an artist? A lot of people said, like, using my talent, whatever it is, to speak to this moment, to alchemize the pain, to bring it through. So again, I think creating little containers where you can do that, even if it's 30 minutes. And again, it doesn't have to be something you even share. It's just to like get it out. Journaling has really been helping me. Talking with friends and family, talking with my husband, Tim, has really been a wonderful thing. Some people are saying it helps to like keep your phone in another room so you can actually try to be creative and you're not constantly getting dings and distracted by what's going on. I would encourage you to be informed, but not be consumed by the news. Find ways to learn what's going on, but not go down a rabbit hole because it can, again, be really disturbing. And I read something once that said after 15 minutes of reading or taking in the news, you're not really learning anything more. You're just spiraling. So take in as much as you need to be informed and then leave it alone so you can actually like do the work that is required. Call your senators, call your representatives, protect each other because unfortunately the people in power aren't protecting us right now. And yeah, just take good care. And it's okay if there's moments when you feel so overwhelmed that you actually feel empty, but make sure to try to make time to replenish and to create. Art is a big part of how we get through any moment of collective trauma. And I know what you have inside of you could be helpful if you bring it outside and share it with someone. So I love you. I believe in you. Thank you so much for being part of this community and for listening to this podcast, for watching me cry. I know you've probably been crying a lot lately too, and it's a tough time to be American. But if we can get through this and demand more and demand better for ourselves, it could lead to a revolution. You never know. It could lead to something expansive and to us demanding better lives because we could have nice things. You know, we're the only rich Western country that doesn't have universal health care, that doesn't have some sort of paid family leave. We live in a way that we don't have to live. And maybe this is the first step to waking people up to the cruelty that actually has been throughout our country for a long time, but it's just like such a high level and so blatant in our faces that maybe this will start to wake us up to all the other cruelties as well. And to really, to make a more positive spin on it, to the possibilities of kindness and love that we could all live within. So be good to yourself, be good to others. I love you and I believe in you. We'll be back next week with hopefully our regularly scheduled programming. That's the plan right now, but had to come on and speak to the moment. Okay, talk soon, my little creative cutie. Hang in there. Love you.